All right, teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the number one show on innovative teamwork. To my regular listeners, you already know how I get down, bring you nothing but the best. Again, today we have an expert in his field. We're going to learn everything there is to know about franchising, everything there is to know about building your business and following the proper system. This is John Hewitt, and if I tried to list off all of your accomplishments, John, I'd be on here for the entire time. So instead of me doing that, I'll just kind of let you talk a little bit about your background, and then we'll just kind of get right into your story, man.
Yeah, to be succinct, for 55 years. I I worked for H&R Block for 12 years, and when I left, I was regional director managing 250 offices when I was 30. My dad was the CFO of a public company, and in 1981, he liked the Apple he bought by mail better than the mainframe that was running his public company. He decided we should computerize taxes. So we both quit our jobs and built the first tax software for an Apple computer. We bought a company in Virginia Beach from Mel Jackson's widow. We changed the name to Jackson Hewitt. We merged the two companies, and Jackson Hewitt went on to become a billion-dollar company with 6,000 offices. And then I sold out of Jackson Hewitt in 1997 and started Liberty Tax. And Liberty Tax is in both the United States and Canada. My second top 100 retail firm. It grew to 4,000 offices in 12 years. Top 10 fastest growing franchisor ever. Again, a public company worth $500 million. Sold my stock, and now we have loyalty brands, and we have three different vehicles for growth. One is tax and accounting. Secondly is construction, led by our roofing and siding. And thirdly is pets, led by our mobile grooming. We have the fastest growing mobile grooming company franchise in the country, top 25 fastest growing franchisor of any of the 4,000 in the country. So that's my 55-year career in a nutshell. I brought in 5,200 franchisees over that 55 years.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I was so excited for today's interviews, because I've been a part of several fitness franchises that have gone down the tube. And I heard you actually say this on previous shows where no one actually does things like you've yet to meet a person that followed the system the right way. And I dealt with several owners, and I would say it all the time. If I was a franchisor of this franchisee, I would have let this person go. So the question actually is, how does a person evaluate if a franchise is right for them? Because we're talking about spending a ton of their money and investing it in something, and then they buy it. And I've heard the term too, where you just simply bought another job and it's not for you and things like that. How do you go about establishing, or is the kind of the criteria that goes into whether you're the franchisor or the franchisee? What's the criteria one should be thinking of when they're looking to invest in a franchise or go franchise?
There's a couple things to consider. Number one is 80% of franchisors fail. So you have to make sure that you're with a franchisor that's going to be successful. And obviously the best proof of that is they are successful. So the thing to do is see their references. And the key to a great franchise system is happy, successful franchisees. And if you have happy, successful franchisees, you can't do anything but grow. And if you don't, then you're going to fail or you're going to decline. So the key is the happy, successful. And they can't just be happy, because I know I've seen franchisees that are failing that are happy. So they have to be happy and
right.
Yeah, they have to be both happy and successful. They have to consider it has to be a fair return on investment of both time and money. And so, and you're right, it's not about the document you sign. Everyone tends to have the same kind of documents. That it's about the people you're dealing with. And so you need to rub shoulders with the people that you're going to be in business with. This isn't about buying something and walking away. This is about spending your life, your next many years with a partner, with a customer, with
Mhm.
someone that you want to be associated with. So the culture of the organization is incredibly important.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of a previous franchise that I worked at. It was called Nine Round Kickboxing and Fitness, and the owners of it started out as a karate school, and then they created a franchise model where it's 9 different rounds. You do certain workouts, and they have a very rigid system to the point where the owner would post things on social media, and they'd get a message saying that's the old logo, we need a new logo, that type of things, right? So I went to a conference for Nine Round, and the owner of the facility, his name is Shannon Hudson. He was kind of talking about the complaints that a franchisee would give him about, oh, well, we don't have TRX bands in our gym and stuff like that and things like that. So when you say a happy franchisee, can you kind of go in a little bit and for the owners that are possibly thinking about taking their business franchise to say what exactly makes a happy franchisee? Is it just money? Is it just a situation where I'm growing in the company or whatever it is? Because that can be difficult trying to make so many people happy when they want this thing or they want that thing and things like that. How do you navigate that space?
Yeah, happy starts with enjoying the industry.
Wow.
And for example, every one of our owners of Zoom and Grumman Mobile franchising owns at least one dog or at least one dog. So if you like dogs, you're going to like grooming,
Yes.
right? If you're
Yeah.
if you're a fitness fanatic, you're going to like fitness.
Yeah.
So first of all, you have to start with, I like the industry. Find some my philosophy is find something you love to do, work hard, persevere. And so
Mhm.
you have to love just the business, the aura of the industry. Then you have to enjoy the the aspect of being a franchise. I did a presentation on I do a weekly mentoring. And
Mhm.
I said, I did a whole hour on should you be self-employed? Because some people just shouldn't be self-employed. Two
Amen
thirds
to
of the
that.
country,
Amen to
two,
that.
right, 2/3 of the country, they want to be self-employed, but only half of them can be self-employed.
Yes.
And so of the 5,200 franchisees I brought in, maybe 15 or 20% of them should never have been self-employed.
Right.
So you got to love the industry. You got to love being self-employed.
Mhm.
And then you have to enjoy the customers and the customers and the other people around you, not only the franchisor,
Mhm.
but you get more than the franchisor as a partner. You get other franchisees as a partner.
Mhm.
So you have to enjoy the group. The thing I like to do to see if you fit in is, number one, you can do a couple things. In the short term, you can go work with one of our franchisees and
Mhm.
just shadow them for a day, a week, and just see if you like it.
Mhm.
But even more importantly, we have our yearly convention and come in and meet hundreds of franchisees, meet them and see if you like the people and like the atmosphere and like the culture.
Now, in today's time, like you said, you've been around the block, you've been doing this for 5 decades. In today's time with social media, and there are things that are going franchise that I have never even considered. There are franchisable things like network marketing, and I'm gonna create a truck service. I'm gonna create this service. So many things that a franchise or people are thinking about, broadening their service. What's the advice you give to someone that's considering going franchise, that has their business, they're in love with their baby, they built their baby, they're happy about it, but the pressure comes in? Look, I'm not going to be here forever. I got to figure out how to grow and expand. What would you tell folks like that?
It's funny you asked, because one of my other mentoring hours about 5 weeks ago was, and they're recorded, you can go on my website and listen to them, was
Absolutely.
if you have a business, is it franchisable?
Yeah.
Because people don't understand this, that 4,000 franchisors in this country. To be in the top 50%, you only need 20 locations. And that's pathetic, right? That's pathetic. Over my 25 years at Jackson Hewitt and Liberty, I average bringing in 20 a month and 10,000 locations. But that's just, and they fail. So 80% of franchisors fail because they shouldn't be franchised. And
Yeah.
so they have something they think is franchisable, and people tell them it's franchisable. But the people that start them, they're typically good. They're entrepreneurs that have a business that
Yeah.
are very, very good at that business. They're exceptional, and they create a mom and pop that's very, very extraordinary. And then they think they can replicate it. Well, it's if they're not there, it's very
Yeah.
usually not replicable. So
Exactly.
the person that starts it they take their business and they try to set up a system that's replicable, and they're running the new business. So they have a foot in each camp. They're running their mom and pop. They're running the franchise system. They're too diluted. They don't have time to do both.
Right.
And 90% of them are good at running a franchise system. It's a
Right.
different skill set, right?
Right.
It's like a fish trying to climb a tree.
Yeah. And I've seen a ton of that in the industries that I've worked. And the thing that I guess I would love to hear you speak on this is when you say people tell them it's a good idea, who should they be listening to and who should they not be listening to, basically, is what I'm asking. Because there's all these ways of communicating to people. There's social media, there's all the profiles, and should I do this, should I do that? What is some like succinct advice to where, again, you mentioned having a mentoring program. What's sort of the vetting process that you would put people through to let them know, look, don't do this if you don't lose money. Don't go and try to create a franchise system when you have a decent situation with what you have.
Well, there's very few resources that you can trust because most people, especially people that charge you to become a franchisor, that charge you $50,000 or $100,000 to do your paperwork and set you up, they're biased to want you to franchise. So
Yeah.
you can listen to me, you can listen to my podcast, but the number one you should think of is, should you franchise? No. You should think no. And you should have overwhelming confidence that the answer is yes. But again,
Wow.
I did a seminar on that, or an hour on that,
Right.
that you should listen to that hour before you even think about rolling out a
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah. So you're saying it should automatically come from a place where it has to be a resounding yes. You don't get to a point where you just want to do it for your ego. You just want to do it because it sounds cool. You have got to come because, like you said, so many of them fail and things like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be 60-40 or 70-30. You better be 98-2.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's not going to work almost all the time. It's not going to work.
Right.
There's only out of the 4,000 franchisors in this country, there's
Right.
only about 400, 10% that are high quality, that are McDonald's or Jackson Hewitt or Zoom and Grumman, that are high quality franchisors.
And everything all the franchises, for you listeners, everything you just mentioned, they have a system. They have a solid system. You could walk into a McDonald's in Florida and you could walk into a McDonald's somewhere in Idaho. You're going to get the same system. And the question that you have to ask yourself, even at the low level employee stage, are you willing to follow that system? Are you willing to follow that system every single day? For whatever, do whatever it is you have to do, but you got to be willing to follow that system. And that brings me to kind of, I want to make sure we get into this as well, as I want to be respectful of your time. When it comes to loyalty brands, can you just talk a little bit about how that started, how you're able to teach systems, and what exactly it is you do with loyalty brands?
We have a number of things that we do different than other groups of franchisors. And one is our mentorship. We have, the reason we call it loyalty is I have so many people that have been with me for over 2 decades. I have 15 people that have been with me over 20 years, several 35, 30 years, 54 years. So, and then we have one of my board members, Bob Gepp, has been in franchising. I tease him that he's the second most experienced ever. He's consulted with over 1,600 franchisors in
Who's
his
the
career.
first though? Who's the first?
Exactly. So I call myself the great granddaddy of franchising, since I've been doing it longer than just about anyone, and I have 5 great grandchildren now. So I used to be, until 6 years ago when I became a great grandfather, I used to call myself the granddaddy of franchising. Now I'm the great granddaddy.
Yeah.
But so we provide mentoring. We have a sales machine. We have people. I brought in 5,200 franchisees that had hundreds of thousands of employees in all over the United States and Canada. Every town of more than 25,000 people in this country. So I have people that are loyal to me, that wherever you go, you can get help. You can get a customer, you can get a referral, you can get a employee, you can get a franchisee. So we bring a lot to the table that no one else does.
So that kind of leads me to the kind of the final point I want to get in is, what's next? You just mentioned 5 grandkids, a great grandfather and stuff. Like what is the next maybe 10, 15 years? Like what do you see as the goal for Loyalty Brands or for whatever it is you're doing? Where do you see it going next?
Yeah, we have 3 different divisions, as I said. And so over the next couple of years, we'll get down to 2 divisions, because I'm 75 years old. And I want
young.
Yeah. And I want to this month, and I want to be able to focus and have, I built 2 of the 2 $500 million companies, 2 of the top 100 retail chains. I want to get to 3 and build another 500 million to $1 billion company. So we'll have 3 different focuses. We'll get down to 2 within 2 years, 2 or 3 years, and then down to 1 focus for John Hewitt in 5 years from now. For when I'm 80, I'll be focused on 1 different industry, one unique industry, and I don't know which one that is yet. But right now, fastest growing is pets. Love pet industry.
Well, as you're talking, it's kind of coming back to me. A lot of the things I listened to you previously, and you talked about how competitive you are, all right, how much of a competitor you are. And as you're talking, it's coming out. Can you just please speak a little bit on the importance of the correlation between being a solid franchisor or franchisee and being a competitor? Because I have a sports background, and that's actually what drew me into the whole franchising concept as it is too.
Sure, I have a fanatical obsession in winning, and I learned some time ago that it's not as much as the joy of winning, it's the pain of losing, avoiding the pain of losing. I have to win like 10 times to equal the 1 time I lose, the pain of losing. So I have a fanatical commitment to win. To win in franchising or in business, you have to have the best system, and to have the best system, it has to be improving. You can't, the system that worked last year isn't going to work 5 years from now. And the way you improve and build your system is to listen. Whoever listens best to the person closest to the customer, whoever listens best to their franchisees is going to have the best system. Listen and learn and improve.
Yes, I'm glad you broke it down like that. And I've said it so many times on the show that the regular listeners might be tired of hearing me say it, but I'm going to say it again. You're either getting better or you're getting worse every day. You're not staying the same. Make the decision. You have to be consciously making the decision to get better today, or you will be swallowed up in this world. It's, again, business. It's not a fashion club. It's not a fashion. It's a fight club. It's actually a fight club where you got to be coming up with your fists out, ready to roll. So, with all that, can you just kind of put how can people get in touch with you and put all your socials out there now? It's an opportunity for you to plug away.
Sure. I'm on loyaltybrands.com. And there's, if you want a copy of my book, which is called iCompete, you can get a free copy of my book. Just sign up for a free copy of my book. And all of my webinars are on that site. So you can learn things like why you should be a part of a great franchise versus do it yourself. Go in business for yourself. Should you even become an entrepreneur? And what makes whether you should franchise your business or not. So a lot of great topics that are the most common questions I get answered. They're all on my website.
All right, and that'll also be included in the show notes as well. So, John, what I do to close out all the shows, and I know you said you were 20 years old and you figured out what it is you wanted to do with the rest of your life. So, I want you to pretend that that 20-year-old John has come into the Zoom room. Just give him some words of encouragement about all the highs and lows about what he's going to be going through in the next 50 years. And we'll officially close with that.
Well, I promise you that everyone's going to have adversity. I've
Yeah.
never seen anyone skate through. So my theory of life is find something you love to do. Love's too short. It's not think if you're living, thank God it's Friday. You're going to on Monday. You're going to the wrong place, right?
Mm.
It's thank God it's Monday, and and work hard. Everything worthwhile requires hard work.
Mhm.
And perseverance is the number one attribute. You are going to get knocked down. I've been knocked down about 1,000,000 times. I have to get up virtually every day. I get a beating. So I have to, God humbles me continually. So I got to get up and keep on going. Perseverance is the number one key to success in business and in personal relationships.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Absorb that rejection and just keep on rolling. Love the work you're doing, man. Keep it up. I definitely gained a fan over the past couple of days because I've been keeping up and tuning in to a lot of your work. So just keep doing what you're doing, making the world a better place, staying competitive, staying hungry, regardless of age. So with all that, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.